It's exciting times around here in Wyoming as later this week, CanAm Bowl 26 will be played for the first time ever in the state of Wyoming. It's the second time in the U.S. A couple years ago, they played in Lambert, Montana, but this time it's coming to Matiti. Games at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And CanAm Bowl 26 USA head coach Scott Reed from Farcine joins me. And Scott, thanks for taking a few time. You put a lot of time, effort, labor into this process. So are you excited that it's finally almost game time?
We are excited. I'm getting ready to take off here in the next 24 hours. Our Texas kids and Texas coach, they left early this morning to drive. They're going to try to make it to Denver. But yeah, it's been a long process. Lots and lots of people involved to get this thing put into Matitsi and the community of Matitsi and Zeb Hagan and his coaching staff and the town of Matitsi and stuff has really stepped up and helped me out. And so it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
I got to ask you, why Matiti? Why not some other six-man spot in the state?
Well, we talked about it amongst us coaches, and I had sit there and thought about it for a long time. I got a little backlash for not wanting to have it in Farson, but Matiti kind of started the six-man thing. They were the team that was going to Montana early in the years, and they've got the infrastructure that's easier for us to hold that game. They've got a couple motels there. They've got a really nice facility. They've got that sixth man association up there that helps out quite a bit. They've got, a grocery store and some little campgrounds for people to park trailers. It's close to Cody. So you've got that, closer 25 minutes down the road, you're in Cody for people that want to go to Cody. And I think a lot of the players, we've got 17 players on a roster, and every single kid has their family coming, which is the first time since I've been involved in it. There's like 30 people coming from Texas to watch their kids play football. And I think some of them are going to turn it into a vacation and go into Yellowstone and stuff like that. So that's why we picked Matiti. And so far it was a good choice because that community has really stepped up for us.
All right. So you do have five guys from Wyoming, then you balance it out with Nebraska, Colorado, Texas, Montana. What was it like for you to put together the roster this year?
So we decided to, amongst the coaching staff, once I picked the coaching staff, we started talking and we agreed that wherever we hold it in the home state, which is Wyoming this year, we're going to stack the roster with those players if we have the players that we need in the state, which we should every year. So we went heavy with the Wyoming kids. Down the road, if we hold the game in Colorado or Nebraska or something, we'll stack it heavy with those kids. It's actually a new challenge for me, rather than coaching high school football. It's kind of fun to try to seek these kids out. I've got to make connections in each state. And I've found some really good people that help me out and just kind of give me a watch list, hey, start watching this kid. I know he's only a junior, but watch him. And I've got enough coaching connections from just coaching as long as I did and football camps and stuff like that to where I can watch film. We can share film together and stuff like that. So I can start watching. And it's a different kind of recruiting because everybody's best player in six-man football is usually a running back or a quarterback. And I can't show up with 17 running backs or we're not going to win. So we actually started a couple years ago recruiting by position and finding the kid that's the best center out there in six-man football, finding the kids that are good blockers and the ends and the fullbacks and the wide receivers and putting together an actual team instead of just a roster of a bunch of all-stars and hope somebody can snap the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, you put together a nice roster. I was over at the Wyoming, Nebraska six-man shootout in Shadron last month, or technically into May, I guess. And what was interesting was Wyatt Tremblay, who's going to play for you on Team USA from DuBois, mentioned, there's a couple of these guys that we just played against that are going to be on my team. I'm looking forward to that, having that. What do you look forward to the most when you bring this group together and you have just a short amount of time to get them kind of on the same page? How do you kind of approach that, Scott?
So what we do is like tomorrow morning we'll have check-in. It'll be for 3 hours. We'll get everybody there and we sit everybody down as soon as everybody gets there. We have a team meeting and just introduce everybody to one another. All the kids will talk about themselves a little bit and explain who they are and where they're from. And as coaches, then we sit down and basically give them expectations. This is what we expect this week out of you guys. And then every day we meet and we actually have team meetings every day to where we sit down and we talk amongst us and just kind of get to know them. The very first night, after a long, hard practice and some dinner, we're going to come back and we're going to sit down and we're going to have kind of an ice cream get together where we just sit down and just get to know one another. It's a lot of fun meeting all these different kids from different places, and I've talked to them on the phone. I've talked to their parents. I've texted them back and forth for the last 6 months, but sitting down and getting to know them is actually a lot of fun, and it's kind of neat when you see it all kind of come together because these kids are all stars. They're the best players on their teams, and usually those are pretty good kids and the kids that get it quickly, and they're usually pretty good people where they can sit down and talk to anybody and get to know one another pretty quick. So it happens a lot faster than bringing in a bunch of strangers that team.
I
But yeah,
got you.
it's
Yeah,
a
I
lot of fun.
got you. So what will you focus on football wise to get you ready for Canada this weekend?
So like I said, what we did was we recruited a roster or a
Okay.
team instead of just a bunch of all-stars. And so we made sure that, we had a center and a backup center and ends and fullbacks and snapbacks that can block and snap the ball, a kicker, everything. Make sure we get everything together. And then we sit down. We have a Zoom meeting with the coaches and sit down and I'll go through the roster that I've put together. Thomas Tritz is my coach in Texas that recruits Texas for me. He's bringing up 4 kids from Texas. And we just talk amongst ourselves as far as, I mean, everybody can grab a handful of running backs or quarterbacks or, something like that. But we got to sit down and actually say, okay, we got to put 6 positions on the field at all times that are all stars. And the hard part about it, which is another challenge I kind of enjoy, is I can't watch film. Like I can't go see what Canada did 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
have no idea. The first time I ever coached in the game, every coach that I talked to that had coached in the game before said all they do is run the ball. They get a bunch of big kids and they just run it right down your throat. And I said, okay. And so we recruited a team. We went up there and I think they ran the ball like 4 times the whole game. All they did was pass. So you never know what they're going to do. And they don't know what we're going to do. So yeah, it's been kind of a chore. It's kind of hard because you're going into it. The defensive coordinator is walking out there, Sam Wildryer, wanting to know what are they going to run. So you have to prepare for everything. So
Yeah.
you have to basically put in kind of 2 defenses to
Good.
try to stop the pass. If it's pass heavy or run heavy or something like that. The last couple of times we've played them, all they've done is thrown the ball. But now they have a new coach, and he likes to run the ball. So it'll be
We'll
interesting.
see. Yeah, gonna be a game of adjustments early, I'm guessing. USA has had a lot of success though in this series. Does that
Yeah,
carry a little, I guess, burden or maybe more pride for the guys that play on this team?
I think it's pride. I think they can kind of walk around with a little chip on their shoulder, but also you don't want to be that team.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first time the game's in Wyoming. They want to win so bad. Talking to these kids, they just every one of them have played in all-star games. Some of them have played in multiple all-star games and shrine bowls and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they've all told me from the beginning, this is the one I want to win. Like, these other all-star games are fun, but we gotta win the CanAm Bowl. So yeah,
Absolutely.
there's a little bit of pride and having, Team USA across your chest. It means a lot to these kids. It really does. And it means a lot to these coaches. So we
Well,
take it really
it sounds like
seriously.
it's going to be a fantastic time. Again, 2 o'clock on Saturday in Matiti. I'm looking forward to it. Scott, thanks so much for a few minutes and kind of previewing this as you get it together. And good luck Saturday.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, David. I appreciate it.